So I guess that's how our podcast is going to start off. Let's just laughing at ourselves. We've been doing this for 3 hours, just getting set up. I guess it's more than 3 hours because it's been a long process of us just trying to get stuff together. So
I don't even know the half of
I want to first thank you guys. Everyone's been supporting this so far. It means a lot. It's kind of cool idea we had at lunch one day. Kind of bounced off a few people and to see it grow to something. I mean, well, hopefully grow to something. Yeah. Don't want to be presumptive. Presumptive. Matthew, what's going on?
It's going pretty good today. Is excited.
Was the 3 hours of fine tweaking audio perfect?
Well, after we got that figured out, I think hopefully the rest of the weekend shouldn't be that bad. I hope you all are having a good Sunday night.
Yeah, don't listen to this podcast while you do homework or anything. It's not going to help your productivity at all.
I agree.
Yeah, it's like Matthew's been here for a good 4 hours today, just tweaking little audio adjustments. You can't see it right now, but our cameras are on top of a shoebox and a Huck Finn book. So, I mean, we got like some Audacity program running. So that's our high tech aspect of it. So
yeah.
Yeah. So we got a lot of stuff to cover today for our first podcast. I know it's surprising. So we have questions from different people, ask Reddit questions, some other little segments that we kind of want to leave a surprise, and hopefully they can return. I think there's some decent segments.
Yeah.
So let's just jump into it. Okay. Questions?
Yeah. This.
Sorry for the laugh. It's just a lot of you don't realize just how much. I know it sounds like we're saying, "Oh, we did so much." I mean, we did do a lot, not compared to like what most people do in the world, but it felt like a lot.
This is a lot of work to get this transmitted from us to you.
Yeah, we hope you like it. Please, if you can, stick around after the 5-minute mark. We might be laughing till then, but.
Yeah, hopefully you'll be laughing with us by the end of it.
Okay, so, alright.
This first question here is by Poker, and he wants to know if we think the SATs are pointless.
I don't know, what do you think? I haven't actually taken the SATs yet, but...
we've only taken the PSATs, which should be somewhat representative, but I think that they're pretty... I think they serve some sort of function.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is that I got a text. What are the chances that as soon as we start after this 4-hour mark, that I get a text? Alright, so... we're talking... SATs. Yeah, I forgot. We gotta cut it.
I feel crazy. I feel like I know like the YouTubers always talk about how the first few videos are always so cringy looking into a camera.
This is like this, you know, that's delirious, and this reminds me of Stimbridge, like studying for the Stimbridge finals that one night, like staying up till 2 o'clock in the morning, just going like that.
I don't know. I don't know the perfect level of welcome, my name is Anderson.
Don't treat this like a classroom.
I treat it like CNBC. Hello, my name is Jeff Pomelani.
Hello, guys. It's me, your host, Anderson Cooper. I'm Aaron Burnett, out front, and tonight we'll be covering the impeachment trials.
I'm Chris Hansen. This is To Catch a Predator.
Okay. Back to the SATs. They will never get through the show.
No, we've been rolling for 4 minutes, and we've done
1 minute worth of content, maybe. Why am I keep going out of frame? Okay. We're probably going to clip the mic, too, just so you guys know. So, try not to listen to this on, high audio headphones, because your eardrums are going to be blown out.
By the end of this.
Alright, so, SATs are pointless. To some extent, I guess. I don't know. It's just...
I think it's a useful measure.
Yeah, it's kind of like AP exams. Kind of the same idea. It's there's a lot of questions that, just...
Especially, I think, with children... We have a strict policy of no grade inflation, and here, when you get an A...
Look at me, Matthew. I'm the one talking.
But at other schools, you can easily get A's with almost zero work. And Charter, if you do exactly what the teacher says, you can get a C.
Yeah.
It's adequate.
The C is like the bare minimum aspect of it, I guess.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's like, I guess why, but if you go to another school, presumptively, I should say, I haven't been to other schools in my whole entire middle school, high school lifespan, but I believe so, if that, you go to other schools, the standard of quality is diminished to fit. It's kind of like how when a teacher inflates a score on a test, there's some teachers that have it where the kids who do C's benefit a lot more than the kids who got A's.
And the SAT is a standardized test by its definition. And I think it's there in place so that colleges say, oh, this student from charter might have gotten B's and C's, but he did really good in the SATs.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, a student from some other high school, not naming any in particular, who got full A's, maybe even AP classes, yet they did a lot worse in SAT. I think it can be a useful measure. Yeah,
it's like everything, though. There's some really weird parts of the SATs that just seem kind of futile in some aspect or another. A lot of times, I mean, you can do different SAT major options, which is kind of interesting to help colleges really perfect kind of mold you into your careers. But overall, the SATs serve a purpose, in other words, I think. I don't think they're pointless.
I think there could be a lot of work done on them, however.
Yeah.
Especially the math section. Yeah,
the math seems pretty... I feel like the math on it is kind of one or the other sometimes. It's not a lot of medium questions.
It's very basic, and a lot of the math isn't actual math. It's more
interpret
reading.
This chart, yeah.
Interpret this, or, read through an entire paragraph of useless drivel and extract the one or two useful things.
I think it'd be kind of interesting if they did it where it was, there was practical, life skills associated with SAT. I mean, you could, to fit a better society, because I feel like I don't know how to do a lot of things that are, school teaches you one thing, but there's certain things that people teach you other things, like your parents or, different mentors in your life. They kind of teach you how to, here's how you file a tax. Like, I don't know where to begin with that, or open a bank account, or, I kind of know that, but, there's these things that are, you'd think they would be in place, but seems to kind of be fading out.
Yeah. I mean, personally for me, I'm turning 18 and very soon, this summer, in fact, and I don't even know the half of what I'm going to have to do legally and paperwork-wise and filing for taxes, like Joe was saying. But I think the SAT is in a good place for that. What I think is have some sort of mandatory, perhaps standardized classes that you all have to take as a senior. Because if you take it any other year before that, a lot of kids will just shrug it off, say, oh, it's fine, it won't be that important, or just forget the skills they learned there.
Yeah. Also, the SATs are kind of nice for someone, go to a more rigorous, challenging school, that if you don't get always the highest marks at that school, because it obviously is sometimes challenging, that your SAT does look better for you than if a kid who got all A's and then got a 1100 on his SATs. Or if you got a mix of B's, C's, and A's at a rigorous school, and then you got almost a 1390 or something like that, then that's something to be not mistaken for.
And I don't think it's ever going to be perfect, but can be. And I think there's always going to be someone who's going to be upset with it, considering it's a national standardized exam.
And I mean, they're adding different things too that are, I think are beneficial for some types of people that, adversity scores. Because there are some cases where people take advanced testing and they just haven't had they could try all their best, but it's just sometimes there's natural things that get in their way. And I think that's...
Life happens.
If it gets to a point where they can accurately adjust the adversity score, that'd be great. Because I think everyone deserves a fair chance at something.
Yeah. I think right now in the whole education system around the topic, I think there is a section of the lower or the middle class where after your family owns more above $100,000, your options for financial aid become increasingly.
Yeah, I mean, recently we saw that thing with the USC where under 80,000,
88,000, I believe.
And there's a lot of countries that fit between that and the upper class, which can afford to pay anyone. Look at the USC rowboat thing, where all the celebrities got their kids into the school for free, or not free, but off of no academic merit. But these kids, who grow up in, poor rural areas or poor, inner city areas, they're not getting the same shot. But there's also that middle ground you got to reach too, because there's a lot of people who live on the lower end, but the higher end of the lower class. So I mean.
And I think one thing is, I know colleges are trying to make it so that every student has an equal shot, but I think one thing is that students who come from wealthier backgrounds have more shots available to take. For instance, I think of the SAT. You can pay a fee and you can repeatedly take the SAT to get the best score you want.
Yeah, but kids who can't,
There are a lot of kids who can only afford it, maybe to take it only once.
there's a lot of issues with that. You want to move on to the second one?
Yeah.
Should we still do senior projects? Also suggested by Parker. So thank you for the suggestions. Should we do senior projects? I mean, Idaho. I from what I've heard, Idaho is one of the only states that still does senior projects. Again, we have not really gone into our senior projects yet. It'd be kind of cool looking back, seeing, or looking forward to doing those. I think senior projects is an interesting idea. It's a good concept. It's good preparation for a lot of things in life, because I think in the jobs atmosphere nowadays, there's a lot of presentations you do have to give, or a lot of different marketing that you have to persuade different people for. And if you find a topic that you're really passionate about and that you want to have an argumentative purpose for, the SATs are a great way to, not the SATs. The senior projects are a really good way to make sure that you kind of forms the way you look at life. Sometimes I've witnessed this charter senior projects before, and they've taught me a lot, and I think they've taught probably the presenter a lot too.
Yeah, I like going in depth on one topic. You often retain some of the information. Reminds me, a couple of years ago with Mr. Junoyo's history class, we always used to do these case studies where we dive in depth on one particular topic. And I still remember some of those topics in detail now.
It's a case study.
And I think doing a deep dive into one particular topic can be really useful.
Yeah, like when I did my only one I had to do because I was AP. But when I did that, I believe I did it on some guy. Here's me saying that they're helpful. I can't remember when I did. It was like Julius II or some Pope guy.
Oh, the warrior Pope.
Yeah, we watched a movie on him. It was cool.
Yes, I remember.
Again, Janorio class did have a lot of cool stuff. But I think the case studies did offer, a great insight, kind of like how you write your senior or college essay or something like that. You really deep dive into it, and you examine all facets. You kind of, as AP students would say, contextualize your information.
And something I wish that a senior project might adopt is to have a better versatility of like options. So you don't just present a presentation and an essay. I wish you could do it in different forms of media, different mediums. Because I believe there are some works that can't be accurately reflected. Like if you build a website or some code to display something, or you can have a dissertation just be code. It doesn't have to be an essay. So why does a senior project have to be solely in writing? I think it'd be interesting if there were multiple formats you could.
And also, not only if you have a senior project and you're trying to come up with something, kind of an argument or a solution to something, it'd be kind of cool if it was something that was a physical object. You could create that and demonstrate that also.
Yeah, like imagine if you were really passionate about. Well, I just saw this one invention a couple of scientists made at Stanford, made out of cardboard, that was able to detect malaria. And they were hoping to roll it out to African societies, and they'd be able to severely cut down the dreadful disease. I think being able to invent something and present the invention would be also an interesting. Yeah,
because it's one thing to say, "Oh, this is a solution," but to actually create the solution, something completely different. I think it's kind of all the questions I want to do, or we should do today. I kind of want to go and ask Reddit stuff because that's some gold.
Okay.
All right. Do you want to do the first one or me?
You can start.
Start something like optimistic. This isn't. All right. So, with all the negative headlines dominating the news these days, it can be difficult to spot signs of progress, or as Canadians would say, progress. What makes you optimistic about the future?
For me, what makes me optimistic about the future is, well, if nothing else, I am excited to always see the progression we face in technology. And I'm personally really interested in computers and tech and how that can help people, especially in the medical field. It's amazing what we're able to be doing. Just recently...
Here's he going on about this. I'm going to say TikTok.
Just recently, scientists have been using more machine learning and AI in order to fuel drug design.
Oh my god, it's boring.
Especially for something like the coronavirus, Which, I don't know when you're watching this. But
Is your computer still on?
Yes.
Imagine if we just didn't have the audio recording this whole time and we're just talking like some crazy people to a phone that's not recording. So.
It's been 15 minutes.
God.
Well, 1/4 of the way through, Joe.
Hey, no time limit. We can cut this off right now.
Yeah.
It's like a time right, but a time podcast.
I mean, I kind of love to do this section where we just do AP questions. We just actually read an essay.
Let's pull up some. Pull up some AP questions.
Look at this borderline page.
Pull up some like AP. I don't know.
What the subject? AP language and composition.
Sure. Yeah, if you guys don't know why I'm glowing so much right now, it's because I'm on a locavore diet. I only eat local.
Local what?
AP Lane kids will get it. No offense.
I don't care. Synthesis? Oh. Oh no. Just put a PDF of it.
It's turning into one guy on his computer and the other guy watches him. Maybe I'll text my dad back.
How do you do this? What is this? Thank you, Mrs. Midlow's room, for this PDF.
Thank you, Grammar Girl.
Thank our sponsor today, Grammarly.
Guys, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Squarespace.
You're gonna cut this out, right?
Probably not. I want to minimize my work ethic on this. Oh my god.
This is a dumb idea. Just think about everyone that's gonna be seeing this.
Hey. Alright, let's do some Ask Reddit questions, okay? I don't want to quit because we come this far. Don't hit the table. Someone's gonna...
Off the Schumacher, the Huck Finn book.
Speaking of that, how you doing, old sport?
Don't put it good, Joe. You?
Doing great, son. How you doing, old sport?
You know, you should come onto my plane.
Your hydroplane.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'll do the famous Great Gatsby gif. You'll see it on some boomer style Facebook. Speaking of boomers.
Wait, this is just the book we have. It's the book we have.
What? Can we just find it?
So slick. Oh my god, we can
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got him.
We can just find Udall. I peeled the pathos and eat those. Oh my god.
Wait, is this A push?
No.
Oh, Udall was the other guy. Oh, no, you're talking about... Charles Manson? Why is the MLK and Charles Manson right next to each other?
No one's gonna understand this. I need to screen record it.
I'm sorry, guys. It's just us laughing at something you don't understand, but hopefully it makes you guys laugh a little. I think we should do some more Ask Reddit questions.
Alright.
When you're lying in bed at night, do you ever randomly remember some relatively minor social missteps or poorly chosen words you did or said years earlier, and then beat yourself up over it, though it wasn't really a big deal? If so, what happened? I gotta think for a second on this one. I can think back to a lot of grade school things I've done, falsely accused of talking during class. I didn't really like that much, but
I always think of those sections where, you know, someone says, enjoy a movie, and then you say you too. Those kill me. Or I remember meeting someone that I know at the theater, and they're like, "Oh, hi, Matthew," and I couldn't remember their name, and I tried to so easily shrug it off. Hi, buddy.
And then there's that. Then it gets forced into you where you're saying you almost have to say their name in some sentence.
And then it comes back to you when you're walking out of the film. You're like, "It was Anthony." It was, you know.
Oh, that was Donald Trump. Yeah, I'm trying to think of missteps. School-wise, there's questions that I just read wrong. Sometimes or choose the best answer. Whatever.
Math questions where I made the dumbest mistakes.
Yeah, like you just forget like a negative. Like obviously you have in your work, but you just don't carry a negative.
Like for me, I sometimes just forget basic algebra. I'm just like,
I think I'll become an actuary. That's a one for the after show.
Yeah.
It's an inside joke.
Actually, he has been changing his mind about that.
Really?
Yeah, he said he had an epiphany. If you don't already know, we have a friend who said that they would
anonymous friend
who said they would be interested in becoming an actuary when they grow up. They're not the type at all. They don't do that good on math.
Actually, it's not well in math. God, it's so stupid. It sounds so stupid saying that.
But while on this topic of lying in bed at night...
No. Family friendly pod. Alright. How's your week been?
My week?
Well, walk me through Monday for Friday for you.
Well, Monday, school off.
Oh, yeah, President's Day.
Yeah, it's President's Day.
Hey, Presidents.
Oh, you know what day it is? That actually kind of reminds me. It's George Washington's birthday.
Let's go.
The day we're recording this.
Wait, should we order like a cake and a celebration? At DoorDash.
Let's DoorDash a cake and have it on camera.
Mukbang.
Have a mukbang ASMR just going.
Hi guys. Welcome back to our mukbang. We'll be eating 10 pounds of birthday cake and
Hello, Mr. Holmes.
that. We should invite our teachers over for one of these pods.
Yeah,
again, that's kind of like something we want to do in the future is investigative journalism, kind of with the school, kind of exploring. You ever seen like a Michael Moore documentary? Kind of do one of those where we just like drive outside a teacher's house and we just film them and like. If you've never seen a Michael Moore trailer for a documentary, it's just pure chaos. Yeah, it's pretty good stuff. But kind of want to go along the lines of that because our teachers make the other half of the school really. So some do at least. Some are. No, you know what? All our teachers are great. What am I saying? There's no bad teachers at Charter. I can't think of one.
All teachers are good in some way. They've all taught me a very important lesson.
Never spend years at school again. They've all taught me one important lesson. Burnout. I didn't know what that was until I've been through my... God, what has it been like... How many years have you been in Charter?
By the end of it, it's going to be 6 years. So that's an entire third of my life.
God. It's more of my life.
Third of our lives at this one institution.
It's like an institution. God, that's so sad.
Well, here's an idea.
Actually, though, it's kind of been a joy. I would have probably met Matthew if I didn't go and, other people, so... Thank you, Charter. We pay our
respects.
Pay our respects. Do you ever wonder why there's a waterfall outside the middle school? I mean, it's an honor, but it feels like someone's dead. But it just feels. It's so kind of oddly depressing. You walk by and you see this waterfall, and it's kind of sad, but because you go by the waterfall, and you're like, man, this is a really serene area. And you look up and you see the old decrepit pet shop sign, and the torn flags, but.
A battle zone happened there?
It kind of does, actually. A battle zone where you've learned a lot of stuff. Hey, speaking of battle zones, have you seen 1917?
Not yet, unfortunately.
Why not?
Just haven't found the time.
Really?
Could watch right now.
It's illegal. God.
God.
Who am I talking to? Yeah, but you saw Parasite.
Yeah, Parasite.
I saw Jojo Rabbit. I saw Jojo Rabbit on the plane.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a little story about my gripe with planes.
Okay.
Delta specifically. Delta will probably never become a sponsor now. So, recently I went to San Francisco, and went Spokane, Seattle, San Francisco. So, we got on we went to Seattle, landed in Seattle. Our plane had some mechanical failures, like all planes have to have at the moment you need them. But anyways, they give us out these earbuds for free. The little screens in the back of the seats. You just plug in. They give those us for free on that flight. On the way home, when I wanted to watch some movie, oh no, you had to pay for them. Do you not realize my frustration with that?
Well, every time I've been on an airplane.
Once?
Technically twice.
Oh, because I went home back.
Well, technically, because of the challenge, it was technically 4 times. But every time I was on a plane...
Are you one of those people who says I've been in every state, yet they've just only flown over the state?
Well, no, I've...
You've been to Florida?
Not traveled in a lot of
We
states.
should travel somewhere. Oh, we'll be traveling when we get on the Ellen show, so...
Call us.
Mark my word. Bet. Why is it every time I drink that you say something?
I know I have a little bit of Sprite inside of my esophagus right now.
Sprite's like that. The
Sprite, what a pinnacle of a drink. I really enjoy this beverage.
Let's AP analyze this drink real quick. So, as you can see, as you cannot see actually, so you got this green, this explicit analysis right now.
Yeah.
So you got green, a little bit of white there, lemon lime. Alright, so a little implicit now. It doesn't have eyes. So it's obviously not. It doesn't see us.
There's a kind of a blue. There's a depth to it.
Representing the sadness within us all. The blue sad.
I see the green as more representing prosperity, how you'll become prosperous and grow as a person after you drink a can of refreshing Sprite.
Did you say that? Yeah. God. So bummed. Oh, God. You want to do our AP word of the day?
Yeah.
Desultory. Can you guess what that means, Matthew?
Well,
Use your root knowledge.
these are my roots. You have the root
Don't look at how it's crossed out.
DE. And you have...
Can you tell me what DE means?
Okay, well...
He doesn't know.
No, one connection. This may be a bit far-fetched.
Yeah.
You have...
Make sure it's still recording. I can just see this. Could you honestly imagine? Okay, thank the Lord it's recording. Alright.
One connection you have is you have this SULT. That looks, for me anyways, pretty similar to the Spanish word for to jump. And de is a negatifier. So I'm going to guess it means something...
To swim.
I'm going to guess something that, like, it can't jump very high. It's like...
It means disconnected. Like, boomers are desultory from... That's not even the right usage of the word, but you get my point.
Like, disconnected, like, out of touch disconnected? Or disconnected, like...
It just says disconnected on the AP, the Quizlet from, like... The Quizlet for some random girl in Virginia or something like that. That I found on the internet, so...
Lacking a plan, purpose, or enthusiasm.
Oh. Reminds me of something.
It's casual.
It reminds me of my work ethic sometimes.
Oh, it comes from the word skipping about. As in jumping.
That's a little different, Matthew.
16th century
There's a
Latin.
difference between skipping and jumping.
Comes from the Latin word superficial.
We're Latin.
And voltor. Yeah, Latin. That was a language that we learned and have forgotten promptly.
Do you know the pluperfect form? God. So, go through more of the week.
Okay.
More of your week.
This week has been pretty long, although it has been short. We've had Monday off.
It's kind of the way I feel like with like really short weeks. I always feel a tad bit longer.
Yeah, this week, like, every day kind of felt like Friday, especially Wednesday. I was just ready for it. Thursday, even more ready for it, and Friday finally came. That was really good.
Yeah, you just pass out on Fridays, don't you? What'd you get Thursday night? 2 hours of sleep?
Yeah, I actually did pass out on Friday. I came home, watched some videos,
So sad.
and then like 5 o'clock, I think, passed out, woke up around 9 or 10, and just
Did you eat?
got to get a snack. Had some chips.
Why do you stay up so late?
I don't know.
Oh my God, it's a great lifestyle you're living. Alright, I'll talk about my week a little.
Okay.
Monday, President's Day. So I did homework that I missed over the weekend, like every good Sunday or Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday. Don't. By Thursday, I'm just drained to the point where I just can't think anymore. And then Friday comes, and I'm like, well, That was the week.
Just kind of go through the walks a little bit. Yeah. Just get through every single day like the last.
Yeah.
And then just push through.
I remember like Wednesday because I had like rugby practice that night. Friday night at basketball practice. As you can see, I'm quite the sporty fella. Mm-hmm. Ladies. All right. What else are we going to do? You have any interesting stories to tell us, Matt? Why am I acting like I'm interviewing you? We're a co-host.
I know, but we can like interview each other a little bit. Like you can dive onto me, and I'll dive onto you. Right. Or chime in occasionally.
Okay. We'll get guests on eventually this summer, probably. So
yeah, which should hopefully.
And if you want to be a guest, just hit us up. DM us on Instagram. If we get this on YouTube, comment below. You know, the typical YouTuber. We'll be doing 3 a.m. challenges in the hood and calling dead people in Hollywood. So that's that. You can probably see in our faces right now we're just burnt out from setting this up for. The old Joe would have been like, "Oh, Matthew just comes over and we just set this up like pretty casually.
Get done a couple hours.
Get some mics.
Done.
3 hours later. Well, welcome back, guy.
Here we are.
But the bright side is, I think like once we get it set up, we'll be good for.
And if anything that we can easily fix about this, audio-wise, video-wise.
Just tell us. We want feedback, too.
Yeah.
Not our own feedback. Not the... Ee-hoo. Ee-hoo.
Give us an AP grade on this.
Yeah, what's our AP grade? On the old scale, the 1 to 9 scale.
Yes.
Right now, it's moderate, probably.
It's adequate. Walkman.
Adequate.
I give ourselves a 6 right now.
No, it's a 9. If we did very experienced things in this, you didn't realize. You didn't realize that.
You don't see what's behind the scenes. You don't see what's right
next
to you.
This was done in 40 minutes, guys. This was done in 40 minutes.
And
you don't realize how good this is? They use rhetorical questions. But how do we know if they're an experienced author? You just have to assume those things.
You don't see the teleprompter behind the camera.
How do you know? All this random laughing and gibberish that I'm speaking is just on a teleprompter right behind us. It's like 1984 telescreen.
This is all pre-recorded. Everything.
We're actually AI right now. You just can't tell. It's so advanced.
You know, I just realized with all this footage of us going to be online.
Or are we deep fake now?
We could be deep faked.
Could you imagine? I kind of want to deep fake myself like Forrest Gump style. Like I'm meeting all these famous people in history.
Who would you want yourself to be deep faked as?
Wait, what do you mean? My face is on the deep fake person, or I'm on their body? Or no,
their face is on your body.
No. Anyone in the world. It sounds really weird no matter what.
Just someone taking over your body.
What?
Someone taking over your body. Just being possessed.
Probably like, who would you do?
I didn't think about this question. I think it'd be kind of interesting if we just had a deep fake of ourselves with political.
What if we just deep faked each other's on each other? So I'm you and you are me.
Oh, yeah, you can do that.
I am you and you are me. Do you watch TikTok, Matthew?
No.
How come you don't prescribe? Are you just not like the other guys?
You know me. I'm pretty quirky.
I eat hot Cheetos. So cool.
I like Takis. I like foreign snacks.
Most girls like hot Cheetos. I like Takis.
Walkie-talkies.
Not for me.
Actually, the walkie-talkies. This is the jam. No pun intended. You had a walkie-talkie as a child?
It's a walkie-talkie.
You don't know what a walkie-talkie is?
I thought you meant it was a food.
No.
I know what a walkie-talkie is.
It's the talkie that's walking on the table.
God, that's so dumb. Why did I think that was food?
No.
It was not.
Oh, God.
I know this is kind of dated, but what do you think of the Super Bowl?
The Super Bowl? Like the ads and all of that?
Ads, mainly.
I felt like a lot of them didn't take that many risks.
No.
A lot of them weren't that
Do you remember
good.
I hate to sound like a boomer, but do you remember the good old days when it was like, like the old Doritos ads, like the kid jumps in the time machine. That one was pretty good. Or The last one I remember like being really good was Puppy Monkey Baby, the Mountain Dew one.
I got people talking.
Yeah, I did. I think that's a good ad if you could do that. Like most of these ads this year were kind of forgettable.
There were some ones.
There are some ones that were really bad, but
oh yeah, there was some. The only ones
Baby
that
Nut.
were like, I don't know about funny, like the Snickers ad. I don't.
Did your grandpa like the ketchup ad?
The Heinz.
The Heinz ketchup ad. Out of all the ads, his grandpa liked that one. It's just, what is it, like 4 like different images of people in like these futuristic environments, kind of an anachronism of some sorts, where like they're in these futuristic environments and they all have Heinz ketchup for some reason.
And then it all kind of combines in one.
Like if it was a future, why would it all be Heinz ketchup?
Because Heinz controls the world. There's nothing like Heinz.
Stupid.
We could get a Heinz sponsorship.
Heinz, hit us up.
I'll drink ketchup.
Badlands Chug style.
A bottle. On this... You know, that reminds me. Let's talk about this. Childhood stories. This reminds me of one particular childhood stories that I had with Heinz ketchup.
Oh, God. This can't feel.
This was when I was a lot younger, like 8 or 10, and it was the middle of winter out, and I decided, I always like to enjoy a bit of snow, and I decided, let's spice up the snow a little bit. So I got a small snowball, and I doused it with Heinz ketchup, and I ate it, and it was, I don't know what I expected. It was awful. And it looked like I just committed bloody murder outside with all the ketchup stains. And my mother went out and saw that and yelled at me.
Why did you put ketchup?
I don't know. And then I tried, if ketchup didn't work, little scientist in me, let's try something else. And then I tried, the Hershey's chocolate syrup.
This looks like...
That one actually was not that bad. If you go outside and grab some snow and drizzle some chocolate syrup.
God, that sounds terrible.
It's not that bad.
I guess it's kind of like ice cream to some extent.
Yeah, it's like a little snow cone.
Yeah.
Ice.
I don't like shaved ice, man.
You don't?
It's kind of overrated. I mean, it's cool over there, but it's not like something I'd go out of my way for. I mean, what are some foods that you just... What are some of your best foods? You like Italian food, right?
Yeah, Italian food is my favorite
Pasta.
genre.
Jean.
I think my favorite of that would probably be lasagna. You, Joe?
It's like good noodles, kind of, or good spaghetti.
It's good pastas.
Yeah, that's the best probably. I like linguine and stuff, but I also like just good old like angel hair spaghetti. It's pretty good.
Okay.
We're talking about food so much because I haven't eaten all day, so we'll probably DoorDash something a little bit.
Yeah, I haven't had any lunch yet, so.
You want DoorDash?
What am I?
Guys, drop below. What do you want this DoorDash?
And tell us if you want to see a live stream of this, because I'm sure we could do that, and that would be interesting for every party involved.
What's food I like? I like just good American food, like fish and chips, and I guess that's actually English. Good English food. You know what? English food isn't really English food. There's not much more besides fish and chips.
I'm sure there is.
You know what I meant, right? No food that I like. Where do you think the word hamburger came from?
Probably the German town of Hamburg. If I had to supposit a guess.
Good choice.
Thank
good
you.
Diction. Like creating your persona.
Yeah, I get
the
that.
persona in which John Locke. What was it again? It was like the persona in which he conveys it.
Oh,
and going back to the whole SAT AP thing. I find the college board. Don't get me wrong. I really want to go to college, and I like how these AP tests are. But if I had to pick one problem with them, it's how they word some of the questions. There's some that I just feel like are meant to trick you. I don't know if that's a fair way to look at life sometimes, but you know what? That's kind of life, I guess. There's my little TED talk there. I'll go through my week a little more. Sorry, guys, we don't have much to talk about. Let's just talk about whatever.
Yeah, talk about whatever.
Yeah, just treat it like a normal car. We'll get better at this. Please give us this one. If you don't like it, just give us another one. We will. I like it so far. I think we're doing a decent job.
Well, I got a question for you, Joe.
All right.
What's something you're really passionate about? Something you want to have changed in the world, or something you find really interesting?
Nothing really.
School consumes my entire time. All my waking hours.
Nah, if you're gonna pick something, kind of what I want to do my senior project on also is like adaptive fashion wear. Because I mean, right now they estimate it. I know I've watched enough Shark Tank where you're not supposed to do this, but they're like, oh, it's a couple $1 billion industry. But I think it's kind of interesting how it's not the forefront of what the fashion industry is. I don't think it'll ever really be the forefront, but it should be a larger subset than it already is. You see companies like Nike have like the Fly Ease where it unzips better, or self-lacing shoes like with the Adapts. I think that's a good change they're making, but not only that, but outer body wear, so like shirts and stuff that are like Tommy Hilfiger did a lot of that too, where they had buttons on the shirts that made it easier to take on and off. Those things are passionate to me because it affects me every day, and also just general correcting ADA laws. So instead of having a ramp that is ADA standard, is it really truly a person with a disability standard? Because a lot of times you can look at a ramp and think, oh yeah, that's a certain degree slope. Sure, that might be what code says, but who's making the law? Obviously not people who use chairs or have a physical disability.
So how do you think governments or people could adapt better?
I mean, you look at places like, from what I've understood or I've read about, is... Hold on one second. Nice shot. Alright.
You don't know what's in these.
It's Sprite, guys.
It
is. My parents are watching it. Sprite, don't worry. Oh, God. What was I talking? Oh, yeah. If you look at different areas in the world, London, or England in general, UK and stuff, they've done a good job with airport stuff. I don't think it's necessarily just a government legislative problem to fix. It's not just, adjust the code a little. It's kind of retraining people how they look at people with disabilities a lot of times. Because a lot of times, it's kind of like, I don't want to compare it to anything that would be sensitive to someone, but there's different spectrums of how disabilities work. I mean, there's some people that are very high functioning, either mental or physical. There's some people a little bit of both. It varies a lot. So, I mean, making sure people understand that it varies is a very important step to further people with independence, but also help people when they need it most. So, and if you're asking me, that's something I'm passionate about. What about you?
For me, one thing I'm passionate about is... One thing I find fascinating for me is computers and machine learning and how we can use AI to change people's lives. I believe you can use it in almost every facet of our daily life to improve people and their lives. For instance, I was talking about how we can use it in the healthcare industry for drug manufacturing. How it works is we're able to pass out drugs in record times now. In only a few months, we're able to design a drug and get it tested. We can scan their entire libraries of billions of possible drugs, and we can have machines scan hundreds of millions of them and then tell it a little about what we want, and it'll narrow it down to about 20. And then residents with domain expertise in that topic can then filter it down. And there we go. We have a couple of drugs that will actually hopefully roll out. Yeah. And I think personalized drugs, I think that's the future of the healthcare industry. Being able to pass one drug for one particular patient. With CRISPR, you can edit and modify a DNA and what makes up our cells. And being able to look at a person, take a blood sample, look at their DNA, see exactly what needs to be inhibited or stopped, and being able to just be like, let's just change that, make a drug, boom, there we go.
Yeah, I think you're right about how personalized I think is way the future, because right now you see doctors giving out, painkillers just left and right, because that's kind of a cure-all panacea almost that they have in their mindset. But really, if you had a personalized drug that you could find a way to limit addiction on, or trying to do something like that, that'd be the way to go too, because then then you have pain cured, but also not with the later on after effects of that pain.
And a lot of people can't find drugs that they can actually take because they're allergic to some.
Yeah.
Or a lot of people have some very particular and rare diseases. They don't have many treatment options available. And I think being able to personalize drugs would help assuage this issue.
Yeah. That's a good point. I like that. Yeah, the healthcare industry is kind of a mess right now.
Yeah.
No matter what side of this political aisle you're on, it's just there's a lot of issues with it.
And I think one thing that doesn't get talked about a lot is how complicated it is administratively. America spends so much of its money on just administration costs because it's so complicated right now to traverse the system we have in place. And we spend so much per capita on this cost.
Yeah, and you got big pharma stuff, and
That's
kind of going into that. What are your thoughts on the election so far? We're not trying to alienate anyone who's political. We just want to discuss it because it's kind of what civic people do, I guess. So
Yeah.
If you don't like it, feel free to comment below and say what you don't like about our points because, we're both somewhat similar in our political leanings.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's some differences, but if you disagree, just hit us up and tell us why you disagree or something like that.
Yeah. I think politically I'm pretty center-left. I consider myself pretty progressive, but not super progressive.
Yeah.
In terms of what candidates I'm looking at right now, I'm not that big of a fan of Donald Trump. I'm more of a Democrat right
I just
now.
said I'm not a big fan of him. That's like toadies.
Oh. For me, I don't necessarily know which Democratic candidate I would support. I'm not that big of a fan of Bloomberg.
No, you got shelled out the other night.
Oh,
Did
yeah.
you see the debates? Yeah, you just when you because the NDA thing. I mean, that's pretty. I know a lot of politicians have their scandals and stuff, and I know this probably never happened with most politicians, but it'd be kind of cool if they just admitted it. I'd have a lot more respect for them. They just admitted they did something wrong.
Speaking of politics, I saw this on Ask Reddit a couple days ago. Do you think it'd be beneficial if instead of get to even see the politicians, you just hear
the policies.
all of their policies, and that's it? No person behind them.
Well, the issue is, I think, with that is if you take a group of people like the Democratic Party, I mean, a lot of them are probably going to have the same ideas on different things. There might be some minutia within it that I guess you could prescribe, but it comes really down to the end of the day, who's best at their job. I mean, there's some Republican candidates that I would support because they do really good at their job as president or higher, but then there's some Democrats that I wouldn't support because I don't think they would do a good job on a personal level.
Yeah, everyone can say, "Oh, I'm gonna do X, Y, Z," but it doesn't mean anything.
If they can act stable in office and build up foreign relations and make sure that we're a safe environment, I think that's the ideal person to be a president.
But by the same token, I think some system like that could be useful to prevent. I know a lot of voters vote solely based on looks, a surprising amount. It reminds me how.
What if they vote looks like premise-wise, like just actual attractiveness, or just defining like a square jaw makes someone more powerful looking or something?
Height. Big one.
Yeah, Donald Trump's like 6'5".
I think sex can determine it, or even race.
Yeah, I can see race being a big factor, but I mean, a lot of that's kind of been broken, I guess, too. Gender is a huge one now, though, because you see, what were there like 5 or so women candidates for Democratic right now, or was at least. You got Elizabeth Warren and Klobuchar still going, and it's cool to see a time where we can be progressive enough where we even have a chance to have people like them on the stage. Because you go back, I mean, there were examples of little small town governments having women and stuff, but you go back a long time ago, it's a long way to go.
Yeah,
and I think even society has still a long way to go.
Oh yeah, we all do.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different factors that. There's still a gross amount of racism, especially around here. I mean, you hear certain people say certain things. I'm like, really? What are your opinions on racism? Like, where do you think racism is born from? Do you think it's innate, or do you think it's a taught thing?
I think it's more of a taught thing. I think, as babies and as humans, we're all pretty equal when we start out. And I think it's mainly our environment and how we grow up and the type of people we interact with.
Do you believe in kind of the idea of early evolution, like, who do you think, like, why the first people became racist? Was it just, like, a tribal thing, or?
I think it's more kind of an us versus them mentality, and maybe a sort of fear. You see the color of our skin, see the color of their skin, and see how different it is. And my evolution, I think it could be a predator or some sort of threat, and so you react against that by acting wary and suspicious.
Yeah, I have to go back in time to early days and just kind of see what life's like.
I mean, humans hate change in general. We like uniformity. We don't like change and progress in a lot of aspects.
Well, it's kind of like that thing the 20s kind of were saying the other day. We like the comforts of the past, but we also like the progressiveness of the future. And
there was that kind of that disparity we have to decide. Are we going to go forth or are we going to remain?
Because like if you're on a bridge, you either got to jump over it or stay on one side.
Yeah.
I think, I always like the next big thing. It's kind of my mentality. It's like, I like what's to come. I always look forward to that. Kind of like, just with little details, like a new Xbox. I'm really looking forward to the future of it.
Yeah, that's one thing that keeps me over the edge. If I ever watered, I'd never be able to witness how we progress in society.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting, especially technology. I find the whole concept of computer-brain interfaces particularly to be...
It's like self-thinking.
No, being able to just connect your brain indirectly into a computer. I mean, imagine if you could just download Chinese, import it straight into the brain. We wouldn't need any schooling. You could just download a data pack and feed it into your child. It's done.
Kind of creepy though at the same time.
Oh yeah, and people will be able to read your
when people even become smarter than each other, like would there be someone who's smarter than the other?
Well, what is intelligence really? So that's more like...
I don't know the definition of intelligence, but I know there's a difference between a dumb person and a smart person. It's almost obviously it's an intangible thing, but it's kind of like a grayish matter. I just don't know where it is.
Well, you can be dumb and still know a lot. I think that's something.
What was that, Scarecrow?
Well,
Tin Man?
No, there's the Scarecrow and the Wizard of Oz, who he always said he didn't have any book smart, but he was actually surprisingly smart and intuitive. He was wise. Yeah, because there's some real smart people I met that are just absolute idiots. Yeah. You. Well, I have a question. Where do you think novel ideas and thoughts come from? Because it seems like a lot of them descend from old ideas. Take this, squish them together, and you have a new idea. But really, it's just built on its old predecessor. Sure so. It's not. Yeah. Oh, thank God. 52 minutes. I think... Sorry about that, guys. We just had to make sure we didn't ruin, the last 30 minutes of this. Based on novel ideas, I think... Well, you get to see in literature, really. Like, one, romanticism built upon older writings, and then the modern 20th century literature built upon, 1800s. So I think there's a quest for knowledge, but in order to obtain that knowledge, you have to learn from the past. I think that's why we were progressive as a whole entire species. It almost seems impossible to have novel thought, completely devoid of any other... you can't just be like, you can't think of a new color. No. And I guarantee you, if you just begin trying to write something down and then begin taking inspiration from, this source or this source, or, even if you write what happened to in your life. What was that disease that was people had, they can't picture things? Oh, aphantasia. Aphantasia. Do you think that's the same kind of issue? Where they just can't picture something and they can't base it off something? No, I think aphantasia is different. I think aphantasia is just you can't necessarily visualize something within your head. You can still think about things and have thoughts. But can you draw upon something that you didn't think of? Probably. I guess my an innate reaction or something. I mean, think about early evolution. That's why we have fight or flight. That's something we just draw upon. Yeah. You know what I mean? If I reach out to punch you or something, it's that fight or flight. It depends on who you are. Yeah, well... what should we talk about? Should we wrap it up? Want to wrap it up? Thank our sponsors and thank our... Maybe we want to have one more discussion. We're at 54 minutes, but we're probably going to be cutting. Keep in mind a lot of that's going to be junk. And so if we go like a minute, if we go like a minute 5 or an hour 5,
Pull up some ghastly groaners. Let's go through our local press and just look at ghastly groaner segments. For those of you who don't know, we have this local paper that has these things called ghastly groaners. They're what they sound. They are just absolute boomer humor style.
Just read obituaries instead.
Man gets charged twice with fake lottery scheme.
He looks like the man to get charged twice.
He does. He looks like he wears baggy basketball shorts and just like a tank top. And like white DC shoes.
It looks like he has a watch collection.
He has a watch. He has a watch. But like he didn't pay for any of the watches, he just stole them off people.
Yet he's oddly proud of it and has to shut in every conversation.
We'll put that in post. We'll pull a photo and put it on post so you guys can see. He's in prison now, so it's fun to make fun of him. You want to read it, Matthew?
Show Mr. Morrison.
Oh God, the giant emoji.
What do you call a cat at the beach? Sandy Claus.
Get it? Like Santa Claus?
Yeah, well.
It's a really odd relation. It's like not even win. What?
What did the clock do when it was hungry?
It went back 4 seconds.
What does that mean? How is that funny?
It's clever?
You know what I hate about eating clocks, Joe? It's very time consuming.
God, it's so bad. Oh God.
I'm losing it.
God, it's so dumb.
Just like
so
Mitt Romney
dumb.
lost all respect after he gave his thing.
Good. We need another ghastly groaner. Oh God, the giant emoji.
My family told me to stop telling Thanksgiving jokes, but I told them I couldn't quit cold turkey.
So dumb. That's so dumb.
Make sure you send your ghastly groaners to Devin Weeks. That's Devin Weeks at D Weeks at
Wait, go to Inlander. I saw you. Do those. Those are next level creepy. Just read. Hold on, guys. We'll make sure this looks cool in post. I saw you. Just read those. It's always these really desperate people talking about people they've met. Just read that top one. Read the top one. Read it in your AP AP's classroom.
This is by Slithering Snake. How do you live with yourself? You're a very evil man ripping off seniors, singles, young vulnerable mothers, women, handicapped. You con, scam, and defraud millions. You love not even yourself.
Stop with the voice.
I continue to bring awareness on what you're all about.
Wrong you.
It is as if you have no heart or soul. You make the world a sad, hurtful, dark place.
No comma.
No more trust or belief. Only grief from the fight. You can take all and leave nothing and not blink an eye. Causing turmoil and destruction, wrecking lives, destroying one's trust, character, and faith in mankind. Fraud,
oh my God, it's an Office reference.
Is a crime.
It is an Office reference. Just what it is. If you don't know, it's just I saw you. It's these people who, or actually this is Cheers and Jeers, but it's these people who write to the local paper or write to a paper and they write like, I saw you. It says like, oh, I saw you at Rosar's the other day and you were looking beautiful while you're picking out oranges. And I hope you see this because what are the chances of the same lady reading that and reading the Cheers and Jeers? So, and then the Cheers and Jeers are like people who get mad at someone or people who want to celebrate people. Because, we don't have this thing called social media that you can do that on.
What's that, Joe?
Go to Cosmic. Actually, never mind. We'll save that for later. We'll save that for another episode.
Yeah.
You help. Do some more Jeers or something. It's just beer, right?
I love beer as much as the next person and respect the craft of brewing.
Hell.
However, in a saturated market of small microbreweries, should you maybe consider that you're the newbie and charging $9 plus tax for a 12 ounce is a little over the top? Don't get me wrong, the beer was good. Just maybe not $96 a gallon good.
Or maybe
it's just me.
What a sad, pathetic thing to write about. I mean, if you go out of your way to write about how you're mad about getting charged $9 for beer, it's kind of a boomer style thing right there. You know, it's always good when they write to the jerk in the Lowe's parking lot on February 8th with a beautiful black dog. I wish I'd called the cops on you when I saw you kick your dog, then forcibly take him out to the ground. You are a sorry excuse for a man. That's not how you train a dog, you jerk. I feel horribly for your dog, and I wish I was able to beat your bleep. I'm a woman and yell at you, but I was pretty sure I would have been on the ground next. You're a jerk and don't deserve the beautiful dog or any pet for that matter. Jerk! This is a gold mine just for content if you think about it. It's just... I'm a little confused with that, though. So, you saw the guy sitting there, abusing his dog, you yelled at him from a distance, and you just sat there and watched the rest of it. Like, you didn't call animal control or anything. Did she? I don't think she did.
Well, he said he called him out, but...
If you're so concerned writing it in the paper, then you should be concerned enough to call it animal abuse.
I want to see who actually writes these. What type of people takes the time to sit
Sad
down?
old people. This reminds me of the coupon story.
Not that we have any issue.
No, we love all ages. We're not ageist on this podcast. That reminds me of the story of the coupons. You should tell that one. You can save it if you want.
Save for another episode. That could start an entire conversation.
That could be a whole episode in itself.
Going through my grandfather's life.
I'll give you one. Matthew's grandpa's cool. Like the one time I met him, but he's dope, dude. Alright, I think that wraps up kind of for our show today. Tune in next week. We'll actually, probably by the time we'll drop this, will be midweek. So, we're going to have people preview it and stuff, so hopefully, and I want to thank your previews. I'm going to go through people we want to thank. So roll the credits. Alright. Supporters. I'll give a little what's it called, epithet for each person. A little more epithet than that. A positive phrase.
We should do a you read one, and I read one.
Okay. I'd like to thank Jared. He really has hyped us up a lot, and that's a big deal. I'll do the next one because I know him too. Parker, you know who you are. You came up with the whole entire name of the podcast. That's something in itself. You do that one, okay?
Which one?
That one.
Well, you just kind of you know how on like YouTubers.
No, you want to each individual.
They just read their Patreons like, "Thank you, Jamin. Thank you, Paul Cross." And I
just want to give some people who are really helping out a little shout out.
All right.
And thank you guys. You guys all came up with a lot of different name ideas too. In the works, we got a little intro going by the Jazz Bus, composed of Maria, Jackson, Mason, and others. So thanks to them, and also some of them will be previewing it early. Logan Madden, who gave us the green screen that we actually never used, so sorry, right Logan. Asher Chivas, help names. Quinn Clovis, help names. Segment ideas. Ronan, names. Augie, names. Ellie, names. Maddie, names. Delaney, names. Jackson Price, names. There are a lot of good names. I mean, it was kind of hard. We had to pick one that was not, anti anything, and want to kind of create it where it's about us too, because we're the host and we're narcissistic as hosts, so. A big thank you guys too, and hope you guys stick around and spread the word to it too.
We hope you're having a good day today, and we hope
you're not bogged down with homework, but you probably will be. It's a sad reality of it all. There's more people I'm not thanking on here, but you know who you are if you are. We do have the one in the works right now. If this thing actually does take off, all the people I just read off, we got a deal on some stickers that we might print up, so. You might get a free sticker to put on your Hydro Flask or to complement that Supreme sticker in your Hydro Flask already. So, hope you guys like it. We'll be releasing more of these. Hopefully, if you guys continue to like it. I know I'm repeating the word I like it a lot, but let's just.
If you have any constructive criticism, please put it in the comments or just contact us on Instagram.
And for our previewers that are doing it early for this kind of soft landing, just write full honest review. So. Awesome.
Make sure to sub, comment, like if you want.
Spread the word, really. Kind of want to keep it local, but also at the same time kind of let other people into our lives a little and show what, high school students talk about, and, just kind of dive in the deeper aspect of life sometimes too. Yeah. So thank you guys very much. Hope you liked. I know it wasn't great for the first episode, but like anything, you're going to get better. So
Gotta start somewhere.
All right. Thank you guys.